I'm putting this video right at the beginning because the topic that I'm going to be talking about has an update that was released 4 hours ago, and I recently watched it, and I want to give my thoughts on that as well. But I already did film the video already addressing everything, so I'm going to let you guys watch that first, and then I'm going to put in the update that has recently come out. But I'm going to give you my initial thoughts first. As I'm sure most of you know by now, my uploading has been as inconsistent as a Taco Bell fart. It's not been great. I look terrible, my hair is all messy, I'm wearing a white shirt. You wouldn't be surprised if there was like a mustard stain right there. I don't look good, and my uploading has not looked good either. But where there was a problem, there is now a solution, because holy crap, the amount of things that have happened in this past week has just been, it's been crazy. It's been a very crazy week when it comes to news. And I feel like we should start this off with something that, at least for me, hits a little bit more closer to home, and that is with a YouTube channel that I actually genuinely love, and it's going down a very, very dark path. And it's from this YouTube channel called Watcher, and basically the big controversy that they've managed to do, the hole that they've managed to dig themselves into, is they are going to be leaving YouTube. And you know, at first that doesn't sound like such a big deal. People are leaving YouTube left and right. It's, you know, people's decision if they want to stay or not. But that's not the thing that has everybody upset. They are leaving YouTube not because they don't want to do it anymore, but because they are moving all their new content onto a different website that you have to pay to see. Content that you have to pay for has been a very, very controversial topic, and it has been for some time, and the way that Watcher has gone about doing this has not been good. While the stuff that they already have on YouTube will remain on YouTube, if you want to see anything new from Watcher, you're gonna have to go to their website and pay for it. And the price is around, I think, $6, which leads to even more controversy because the CEO of Watcher said that they put it that way so that they can make it affordable, which, you know, when people start defining what affordable is, it kind of gets a little messy. That line is kind of hard to define, and so that just only served to piss more people off, myself included. And it just really sucked to see them do that and pull that kind of move. And I think the reason why it hurts me more especially is because I have been watching them for years, since middle school, since they were a part of BuzzFeed, which, you know, BuzzFeed, blah. Shut up. They used to be part of a very popular thing on BuzzFeed, and that was their Unsolved series. And when BuzzFeed started to go down their little nosedive, that was the only thing that was really left that really had any substance to it. It was the Unsolved series. Them going over old, you know, mysteries and stuff, trying to see what the theories are, trying to find out what happened. And more importantly, and probably what they're most well known for, is their ghost adventures, where they go into haunted locations and they, you know, they do ghost hunting. They hunt some ghosts. And so when they left BuzzFeed, it really sucked because I really wanted to see more of them. And then I heard that they started Watcher, and my heart grew 3 sizes that day, because not only were they doing the same things that they were doing on BuzzFeed for the most part, but they also introduced a bunch of other different things, such as The Puppet, and also Are You Scared Yet, where they say and read out loud scary stories, which is, it was really enjoyable to, you know, listen to and watch. But now, if you want to watch anything new from Watcher, you're gonna have to pay for it. And this is something that just specifically really irks me, because it makes no sense why they would make this move. I think for most people, when it comes to YouTube, there are so many different options when it comes to monetization. I think typically when it comes to monetization, if you are worth your salt as a YouTuber, the monetization is usually pretty good. It varies from channel to channel depending on, you know, what kind of stuff you upload, what your content is, but for the most part, if you are actually, you know, good at YouTube and you can actually make a living off of it, you can make a pretty decent living. Watcher's a little bit different because I think for the most part their content can get a little dark, so it might not be as lucrative as other YouTube channels, but more than that, it's also a company that has multiple people in it, so splitting that ad revenue, I can see why money could potentially become an issue. But the thing is, that's happened with multiple YouTube channels, and there's usually one main solution that people always turn to. And they usually turn to Patreon so that they can have everything uploaded on YouTube. They still make revenue off of YouTube, but if you want to have behind the scenes, or you want to see videos early, or whatever thing they put on Patreon, then they can do that option. And that's usually a very safe, non-controversial option. But to completely abandon your YouTube channel, I just really don't understand how that could be beneficial for anybody. It's just not. As of right now, I think they have dug themselves into a hole that I'm not even sure that they can get out of. And if you look at the comments, the like to dislike ratio, most people are in opposition of this move that people think is really stupid. And honestly, this hurts them more than it hurts anybody else, because the stuff is still on there, thankfully, but anything new is going to be bad. And anything moving forward, I think, is going to be just as equally bad, because now they have this stigma around them. They are known as the YouTube channel who try to get away and go off on their own and get more money. And for some people, that can be seen as greed instead of trying to, find a more lucrative option. I think most people are seeing this as I'm going to get as much money as I can out of the situation and then just forget everything else I used to do. And some people see Watcher like that, and I personally don't. I think it's kind of scummy what they're doing, but I can kind of vaguely understand it from a company-wide YouTube AdSense, situation. AdSense not being able to pay for, every single person that's a part of Watcher. But at the same time, Patreon would have been the best option. It's the most... I don't get it. I really don't get it. And it just really, really sucks that it's Watcher that's doing it too. I would have never expected them to be the ones to do it. And honestly, I think their reputation could be screwed by this point, and I think it already is screwed, because if you go on TikTok, Twitter, or X, or whatever you want to call it, they are just getting absolutely flamed by everybody that used to watch them. People saying, yeah, I used to watch them. I can't believe they did this. And that's just the broad temperature of the room right now. And even if, let's say in the next couple weeks or days, they decide that, you know what, this was a bad move, we made a mistake, we're coming back to YouTube, I really don't think it matters at all, because what's done is done. It was done publicly. It's a very, very big issue now that most people are aware of. So I think even if they try to come back to the YouTube channel and try to ditch whatever monetization thing that they were trying to do on another website, I don't think it matters. I think that their reputation is now sullied, and now anytime that people think of Watcher, they're going to think about this incident that people are now comparing to the Fine Bros incident, which was a terrible, terrible situation that people still talk about years later. I think it's been how long has it been? Half a decade since that whole thing happened? Why is his hair so bad? And people still remember the Fine Bros for that moment, and now most people look at the Fine Bros as a really scummy organization. And it looks like Watcher, unfortunately, might be following suit. I really don't know what kind of PR thing they could do to get, the trust back in the broad audience. The Watcher was a big channel, had around 3 million views, but this whole thing has boosted them to a whole new level of well-knownness, to the point where even larger YouTube channels that at one point never knew they existed are now talking about them, and they're talking about this stupid decision that they decided to make. And a lot of people are blaming the CEO for this, Stephen Lim, because they think that he made all the decisions, and that might as well be the case, but it could also just be an entire company-wide decision that was also made by Shane and Ryan, who are the main two hosts of the show. We really just don't know. All we know is that this is the decision that they decided to make, whether everybody was on board or not. And I really just... I don't see a way that they can really recover from this. I'm trying to think in my head, what could they do to get back into, the good grace of the audience that makes them them, and I really just can't see it. And it's just really sad to see. I remember when they announced that they were leaving BuzzFeed, and I remember when that last episode of BuzzFeed Supernatural dropped, I remember how horrible I felt, because I thought that I was never going to see them again. It's just such a sad situation to see, because these are people that I've grown up with, and seeing them go down this road, it's just not pretty to see. And all this could just be one really, really big mistake that they decided to make, and then didn't expect such backlash afterwards. But I just really don't know. I don't know. So right now we just have to wait to see if they decide to completely, scrap their monthly paid content idea, or they're going to go back to YouTube, do a Patreon. I don't know. Alright, so about 4 hours ago, we received an update from Watcher, and essentially in the video, they just kind of addressed the entire drama that everything has become as it's blown up wildly online. And it started off firstly with an apology. They apologized by how they treated it so badly, how they didn't, as they put it, approach the situation correctly. It was insensitive. And as apologies go, I think they did a very, very good job. They weren't making excuses. They genuinely did seem like they were listening to everything. And with that, they also put some updates in with their website. And it's with these updates that I find myself asking more questions. So essentially what they announced was that they still are going to give you an option to watch things for free. And essentially what they're going to be doing is they're going to be putting all their stuff on their Watcher website that has the subscription, and then a month after that it will be released to YouTube for free. And I don't understand. I like what they were trying to do. I do appreciate that they are still giving free content, because that was the big issue that was, that had everybody so upset, having to pay for, to watch your content. But at the same time, if you're going to make it free to begin with, is there really even a point in having the Watcher website at all? It really just doesn't make any sense to me. And what baffles me even more is that later in the video, they also mentioned how they do have Patreon members. That was something I was not aware of. I thought that the reason that they were making this was because they didn't have a Patreon, but apparently they do. And everybody that is on their Patreon is going to be able to, automatically transfer over to the Watchers, so they can watch it for free because they're already paying with Patreon. It's confusing, to say the least. And it was as I suspected, monetization with the stuff that they do. They do delve into some kind of dark topics with like crime and murder and, histories kind of stuff. And that stuff can get kind of dark. So the monetization is not well. And it's exactly as I thought initially in my initial video of this. I like Watcher. I like Shane. I like Ryan. I like the whole crew. I've grown up with them, but I just really don't understand this move, and I might be wrong. I might be approaching this from the wrong lens or something like that. I just don't see where the profit is if they already have Patreon and everything that, all the perks that people would initially get on the Watcher with, exclusive content. It's just going to be released a month later for free. So, is there even a point to watch Watcher on their own website? And I just think that this entire thing was just a mess from the start, and I might be wrong. I just don't think I am. I just don't think the Watcher website's gonna really, help them out financially in the way that they might want to. I really don't know. I really don't know. It's just a very strange situation, because they did mention that if they didn't do something different financially, then they probably wouldn't be doing Watcher anymore. And I understand that. I really do, but I don't understand this specific move. I do think that they pulled off a very, very good and sincere apology. I think they explained everything very well. I just don't think that now anything's going to be beneficial to them. I think that audience-wise, we're covered because we get the free content. We fixed that issue, and we already got we got our apology from them. I just don't see how this helps them at all. And if anything, again, I just think it's the same situation that I talked about earlier, where they just, the reputation is always going to be in some way tarnished by this decision. And, it's just a very unfortunate thing to see. And who knows, I might be wrong. Maybe this was the right move to get them back in action. I hope I'm wrong, because I'd love to see these guys continue to make the stuff that, they do, because I really do love their content. But I think this is just, again, as always, one of those situations where we're just going to have to wait and see. And who knows what's going to happen. But that's it for me today. Thank you so much for watching, if indeed you still are. My name is Brockster, and I bid you all adieu.